Thanks. I'm in the asset management department at BC Nonprofit Housing, and I'm pleased to introduce our webinar on building maintenance, horrors versus happy endings, presented by Fresco. And thank you to our sponsor, Fortis BC. And before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge that I'm joining today from the unceded territories of the Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, and Musqueam peoples. And our work here takes place throughout the ancestral lands and the many unceded territories of 198 distinct First Nations in so-called British Columbia. So I'd like to thank you for participating. Lines are muted and our session is recorded. Please feel free to say hi, let us know what territory you're in, ask questions, make comments. We all know maintenance, you must have a lot of questions or a lot of great intentions of getting around to certain practices. And at the end, we'll have a Q&A. So upcoming, we do have an in-person event. We have our Regional Education Networking and Trade Show. If you go to our website, you'll see something like this under events. And so on May 10th, we'll be in Nanaimo. May 26th will be in New West, and we're going to be in Prince George on June 16th. So registration is open for those. Kootenays, we'll see you in September in Cranbrook. And there's also online, we have some online learning events. You can check those out, including one not yet posted, but we're working on another one on extreme heat for April 28th. So I will stop sharing my screen and pass it over to Mehdi Gadzi from Fresco.
Thank you, Jackie. Let me just share my screen. Hello, everyone. Thank you for attending this webinar, and thank you, BC and PHA, for providing this opportunity. So we're today is going to talk about building maintenance. For those who may not know Fresco, Fresco is an energy efficiency consultants firm. We have design engineers, project managers, and we can help the building owners for planning, development, and approvals, getting the approvals of the energy conservation projects. My name is Mehdi, as you heard. I'm basically a mechanical engineer. I have also a power engineering certificate, and I've been working in a couple of commercial building in different level of maintenance team as a building operator and also supervisor and manager. So we're going to run a poll, I think. We're going to know what are the role of our attendees today. I think they're maintenance team, property manager, asset manager, consultant. If you could please. Okay, so apparently the majority of the attendees today are the property managers, as well as the other roles, and we have also maintenance team members and asset managers. The next poll would be, what are the most common problems you see in your buildings? It could be issues with your hydronic heaters, hallway ventilation and heating, or any unexpected equipment failure, leaks around the windows, drafty windows, or burnt light bulbs, which is a common problem usually, or any other type. Excellent. So unexpected equipment failure, which we are going to talk about it today, and to see how we could prevent it is the most common thing that apparently is happening to our today's attendees. And as well as the other issues, I can see burnt light bulbs and also issues with hydrant heater system, which we will be talking about them today. Today's presentation overview would be the benefits of having a smooth, efficient operating system in the building, common problems that we have as we spoke about, and how we could make a preventive maintenance plan, managing our time on the turnover time, and how we could do the inspections, how we could plan our capital upgrades instead of just waiting for the build equipment to fail and then think about replacing them. And also we are going to talk about funding opportunities that different authorities are providing building owners with. And at the end, we will have a Q&A session. There are benefits in having a planned preventive maintenance system in our building. We can maximize the equipment performance as well as extending their life, the components actually. This obviously will result in saving energy and reducing our energy costs in the building. And one more thing that these days we can see the signs of it and we need to pay attention to is each of us are supposed to participate in reducing the amount of greenhouse gas emissions. So this is an important thing actually we need to pay attention. We could minimize equipment issues that we can see in in the poll we saw that this is an issue that it's happening quite often. And also we can reduce the operating costs as well as improving the comfort and well-being and satisfaction of our tenants. One of the most important issues in the building we need to pay attention is air leakage. So in the inspections that we in Fresco have on from the buildings, we can see a significant amount of air leakage. This usually happens with the large holes around the pipes and outlets that, as you can see in the photo. And usually there's no seal. Sometimes there's no sealing between even the drywall and flooring. So because air leakage is based on some studies is like 24% of the heating costs and heating of the building will be wasted because of air leakage. This is very important to pay attention to. There are simple solutions to prevent air leakage. We can use silicone hybrid sealants for between the floor and drywall to make the building actually sealed. For the pipes, actually, we can for the holes around the pipe, we can use the expanding foams, which are available in the market. There are also types of gaskets like the polyethylene and also neoprene type for the small outlets. For the bigger outlets, we can use again the expanding foams. And also for the door weather strips, most of you I think are familiar with the weather strips that can be used for the windows and doors, and this helps a lot in reducing the air leakage in the building. This is an example. The right side photo is an example of a window that needs the weather strips is coming off and needs to be replaced. Another place that it worth to pay attention to is the roof. So on the roof, we usually have clogged, like simply unclogging roof drains could help in could prevent actually creating pondings and which is an issue that is very quite common, I think. The ponding can damage our roof membrane, and also increases the chance of actually the water could go to the insulation and could damage the insulation. So that would be a weak point of our building on the roof. So it's always worth is checking our roof. Like we need to do it quite often, regularly on a planned basis. There are also actually, there could be penetration and holes on our roof sheet metal capping. So that could be easily addressed with caulking and finding them and caulking the holes and penetrations. One more area which I think we all are dealing with is lighting. So there are exterior and interior lightings. The issue with the lighting is sometimes, and I had the same experience when I was working for a hotel, that they're getting controlled sometimes by the sensor, sometimes by a timer. So an incorrect location, this was my experience, that the sensor was installed on an incorrect location, and it was in the shadow most of the day. So that was resulting having the lights on during the day, most of the hours of the day. So it's always worth checking the light timers and sensors. There's timers out in the market that can be automatically adjusted with sunrise and sunset time. So it doesn't need, they don't need to be adjusted like quite often with the change of the hours and everything. They're programmable and adjustable. For the interior lights, we can replace the lights with LEDs. LEDs are low consumption lights. They can save approximately between like half to 75% energy comparing with the incandescent old-fashioned light bulbs and those types of light bulbs. Speaking about the LEDs, they have a quite high color, actually CRA as an index, which means like a higher quality of lights, and also there are a wide variety of color temperature, which can result in comfort for the tenants, more comfort for the tenants actually. They get deemed less than the old-fashioned type light bulbs during their lifetime, and also because they last longer, we can reduce the maintenance cost. Obviously, we less often will be replacing the light bulbs, and if we select proper type of LEDs, they should last for 10 years or maybe even more than 10 years. This will be reducing the cost of like renting lift or using ladders, and respectively reducing the liabilities that we may be facing in our buildings. One more environmental and health point about the LEDs comparing to the old-fashioned light bulbs is they don't have any mercury. We all know that fluorescent light bulbs have a lot of mercuries inside when they break. So the mercury vapor will be sprayed around, and it's not a healthy thing. There are options on when we are going to replace the light bulbs. We can just simply actually replace the light bulb to an LED type. Another option is a retrofit kit, actually, which for this we obviously need an electrician to get it done. It could cost more for us, but they have quite a good return of investment period between 1 to 4 years. And so it works is actually to use them, and they can also last longer, same as the LED light bulbs. When we are choosing the first option, you need to pay attention to the type of light bulb that which to check it if it is compatible with higher temperature actually operating situation or not. Otherwise, it can the lifetime of the light bulb can get significantly low, and we have reports actually that light bulbs get burned in less than a year, which could be which is the reason of like when we don't select a proper light bulb. Sometimes we even can replace our fixture with a new fixture. This is only recommended when the fixture is damaged or the space needs an aesthetics upgrade, as the cost is highest, and also sometimes the mounting footprint of the new fixture is different shape, so it needs repainting. Another option that we have when we replace the light bulbs are the LED strips. They significantly reduce the power consumption, the amount of power consumption. They have a very longer lifetime, more than 50,000 actually hours could be their lifetime. And as I mentioned, their return of investment are quite reasonable, between 1 to 4 years, and under 2 years are better for hallways and parquets, which we have lights on 24/7. Another place in our building that are very important to have them on our preventive maintenance plan is our boiler rooms. The boiler rooms, as you can see, as you can see in the photos, sometimes are not in a good condition. In the left photo, you can see a clogged heat exchanger surface. It could be the solid residue from flue gas condensate, which causes corrosion and clogs heat exchanger. And this can limit the airflow in the boiler and could actually cause also flame rollout, which you can see in the middle photo, that we have a sign of flame rollout, which significantly can reduce the heat transfer to the water and also increases the temperature of heat exchanger, and that can lead to leak from heat exchanger. The solution is easily trying to find some contractors that they do this type of maintenance as a part of their service, so they can easily rinse the heat exchanger with hot water and dissolve the white powder. And also brushing brushing the heat exchanger. So this can significantly increase the efficiency of the boiler, and we can have a better temperature in the building, and also more satisfied tenants. At the right photo, you can see a clogged combustion air intake. Sometimes the air intakes are very close to our laundry room, so we need to make sure that the lint from the laundry room won't clog the air intake. That can happen also with grass clippings or leaves or even birds' feathers, which I had the same experience when I was working for a commercial building in downtown, because in downtown we have a lot of birds, and that could be an issue then that they need to be checked like quite regularly. This issue could result in a lazy flame, not a good quality flame, and we will just have some gases goes up to the flue vent, without using the like the heat which is in the gas. So for that, as I mentioned, visual inspection every few months is to check if we have any of these conditions, like a soft lazy yellow flame instead of having a hard blue flame, or dirty city heat exchanger surface, or a damaged combustion chamber wall. If we have backdrafting or not. Backdrafting could be checked. Sometimes we have white powder at the top of our boilers, below the venting flue pipe. You can see at the top of the boiler that if there is a white powder, this could be a sign of backdrafting, and backdrafting is just waste of energy, and it needs to be prevented. So this can be again easily maintained by and addressed by cleaning the burners. We can ask our contractor to check our burners and clean them like quite regularly. Clean the fire side of the heat exchanger, descale the water side of the heat exchanger, and for atmospheric, actually not natural draft boilers, we can easily adjust the draft and or fuel pressure in the manifold. And for forced draft boilers, check and adjust the air and gas flow rates. We need to ensure the combustion air grill is clean, as I mentioned, and the dampers, if we have dampers installed, are operational and have gaskets in good condition. So and cleaning also, and obviously lubricating the dampers actuator, if they're installed, can help in having good performing boiler room. These two are two examples of the left photo shows the gray boiler water. So flushing the hydrating system once a while can help in renewing the water that we have in the system, and it can significantly increase the efficiency of the boiler and our heating system. The right side photo, I think it's a building in New Westminster. This is somehow like almost clogged pipe, which can reduce the flow, and this residue could go up all the way to our units and can block our zone valves in older buildings. This probably is the result of lack of water treatment. These residues could be calcium deposits. Some municipalities that has higher solid concentrates. So in those municipalities, this is more crucial to take care of, to check actually if we have this situation or not. So for our hydrating system, these days it's quite getting common to use the condensing boilers, but even when we have the condensing boilers installed, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are working in a actually efficient condition. So this is something we need to make sure that if the outdoor reset temperature sensor is actually connected or not, and we need to check if the boiler temperature goes down as it gets warmer out. So that could be a sign that outdoor temperature reset system of the condensing boiler is working, because that is a feature of the condensing boiler, and that is one of the reasons that we are using them, and we are installing them these days actually. So most condensing boilers are initially set up to a constant high temperature, ignoring the efficiency, which is actually which is not paying attention to the goal of installing the condensing boilers. Even if they are set up to reduce temperature in warm weather, a typical pattern is a technician usually reacts to the first cold complaint by overriding the system. So the control doesn't work in the way that it needs to work. So this is something that we need to make sure. We need to ask our contractor, or if we have any actually maintenance team on site, we need to ask them, and we need to make sure that these are connected and working properly. Water treatment, I mentioned, flushing hydrating system, and charging chemicals, which I will mention in the next slides, the examples of chemicals that we can use, as well as side stream filters and air bleeders. These are some options that we have to have our water treated and working in a good situation. Zone valves, as I said again, it's a smart investment to replace them systematically and periodically, and instead of just reactively waiting for them to stop working and then replacing them. Again, as an experience, when I was working for the hotel, in a hotel which had more than 500 rooms, because there was no plan when I joined, every day it was a part of the maintenance team job to replace 2-3 zone valve or zone valve motor, because there was no plan for replacing them periodically, systematically, which was leading to a lot of complaint from the guests. Boiler controls, as I mentioned, for the condensing boilers, it could be condensing boiler or any type of existing boiler, regular boiler. So sometimes we, as you can see in the left photo, we just have some notes. This is quite common when we walk in the boiler rooms in different buildings. We can see notes like this in the boiler rooms, and this is a sign that there might be no control, or the control are getting overridden manually. And this notes is a kind of instruction manual for the contractors or on-site maintenance team member to see how they can actually manually manage and control the system, instead of like having a good control system working. The middle photo shows a control system which is not set up correctly. It's so it's stuck on 12, fixed at 12 actually, clearly not functioning. And we see this usually on analog timers, but sometimes it happens on digital one also. It's always good to know that and check if our control system is working properly or not, and if it's on at the set points are adjusted and working properly, and we need to make sure that our control system are quiet in performance. Some low-cost solution for the boilers could be an automatic fluid damper, which closes when the boiler is not firing and holds the heat in, much like a lid on a pot. Because for the newer buildings, the standard the standard in newer equipment without a flue damper says that air is drawn through the boiler and out the flue by the convection, so that leads to wasting energy. So to prevent that, we want to have a damper and to prevent the boiler getting changed into a radiator. We don't want to actually waste those amount of heat. Most older boilers are massively oversized, actually. So firing at only they fire only at 25% to 50% of capacity, even in the coldest day of the year. and most of the time they only need to fire in a short time, and then they remain off for a long time. So this could quite happen that when they are off, we waste energy through the flue vent. And dampers could help in preventing this. Another solution is three-way bypass mixing valve. When we for the existing boilers, actually, we need the boiler to work on high temperature to prevent corroding and clogging in the boiler. But at the same time, our baseboard heaters inside the suites don't need that much high temperature, and the high temperature in the baseboard heaters and also on the uninsulated heating pipes could result in the tenant actually don't feel good, and it could be an uncomfortable, like they feel uncomfortable. So for the three-way bypass mixing valve could make two different loops for baseboard heaters and also for the boilers. So the boiler can work on a higher temperature while the baseboard heaters are still in lower temperature, and that could result in more satisfactory by our tenant. Another solution could be additives, hydrating additives. There is actually there is a chemical, and the brand is Endotherm, and it's like it can be applied easily like an anti-corrosion inhibitor, and it reduces the viscosity of the water, so we will have a greater heat transfer, and also in the pumps we can have lower flow friction, so the pumps work on a more efficient condition. This can help us increase the efficiency for the buildings which they don't have a control between 8 to 12%, and with the buildings that we have condensate boiler with the control system, it even can increase the efficiency to 12 to 15%. In this photo, you can see an example of some type of it's a Victolic pipe actually coupling, which is leaking and it's dripping. So we can see there's a can color coded, and this is an example of not a good maintenance actually plan. So for our domestic hot water system, we can to extend their life and improve the efficiency and prevent the breakdown and prevent the leak. We can we can check our pumps, and we can check for the leaks in the flanges and in the pumps. We can touch them, listen them, and look for leaks, and determine if the motors are running on a good condition or they have vibration. If there's a noise in the motor, that could be a sign of a bad performing situation. So we can have a qualified service contractor to tune up our system, so we can prevent the failures actually when we pay attention to any small amounts of noise or leak or something like that. The benefit of this is a longer equipment lifetime, as well as maintain pump and motor. They likely last for more than 20 years, which poor maintenance can decrease their life to less than half. Yeah. So here there are some example of missing insulation in the boiler room. So insulation is another solution that we can take to prevent heat wasting and like reduce our energy cost. The left photo, you can see a regular uninsulated actually boiler room, while the pipes in the left photo hardly can be seen. At the middle photo, which is an infrared photo, you can see how much heat are getting wasted. So like a simple type of insulation, a low-cost type of insulation could prevent 80% of heat loss in the boiler room. At the right side photo, you can see a high quality, probably high cost insulation. This type of insulation may not be paying back that much, but as I said, even a actually simple type of insulation can save a lot of energy and prevent heat waste in our boiler room. Ventilation. So we all know makeup air units on our roof, and we in Fresco have walked hundreds of rooftops, and at least 50% of makeup air units we are seeing are missing filters, or they have fully loaded filters, or like the filters are mashed. So filters are one of the things that we need to check about our makeup air units. We need to make sure that the filters are getting replaced on time. Sometimes the size of the filters that we have been using are discontinued and they're not in the market anymore. So we need to make sure that we can adjust the filters frame with more metal sheet or something. So we can use the filter sizes that are in the market. Belts are another part that we need to pay attention. There are several examples of the belts that are very loose and or they're broken and no one is aware that they're broken and they're not working. And when they broke, the connection between the motor and the pulley will be lost. So the fan won't be rotating and running. So this is the left side photo is an example that you can see how loose the belt is. And so this can be easily recognized with the noise that we can hear from our makeup air unit. So if we check the makeup air unit just with walking around it quite regularly, this can be recognized. And also we can like this shows that if we it's recommended actually to make a good relationship with our contractors and our HVAC technicians, because they are the people who are in charge and they are checking this type of things. And if we have a good relationship with them, they can easily let us know that what is going on, and we can get them changed on time, and we can have a smooth, efficient working system in our building. At the right side, you can see a full central HRV core. It's heat recovery ventilation system. So you can see there are bugs and debris making it full. So the air is going to bypass the filter, and this can result the coils and heat exchanger cores also get full. So we will lose the efficiency, and we will have a lower supply air in our building. Another area of interest when we are talking about maintenance is our fixtures, like our plumbing fixtures. So upgrading plumbing fixture to higher efficiency models, like the shower heads, the sink aerators, toilets, and sometimes commercial kitchen spray valves. They are the fixtures that we are using. Most of our like water consumption are getting consumed in these fixtures. So water efficient devices reduce the water and sewer costs and reduce natural gas costs related to the domestic hot water heating. The typical older fixtures, usually like I'm talking about the shower heads, they consume between 2.5 to 5 GPM, gallon per minute, while the water efficient shower heads and also aerators, they reduce the consumption to 1 GPM. There are some issues with some of the older high efficient shower heads. Tenants were not very satisfied about the pressure, and but we have newer models these days, and they're widely getting used. That they have a very good pressure, and they provide a good satisfactory level for the tenants. So proactively replacing them in a large number will show us a significant reduction in our water bills, instead of just simply waiting for the shower heads to be broken and then get them replaced. Actually, yeah.
Mehdi, should we give about 5 minutes for the rest of the slides, and then we'll do a little Q&A?
Yeah, sure.
Great, thank you.
I'll try to be faster. It's very good to have considering all the points of buildings that we talked about. It's very crucial to have a planned preventive maintenance. We need to check if there is a plan schedule or not, and how often we are doing our preventative maintenance, if it's quarterly or like 6 months or every 12 months. This shows that actually if we have a preventative plan, we can have a higher satisfactory level in our buildings. These are just two examples of common issues in the suites. The left side is the baseboard heater, which is extremely dirty, and the right side is a bath fan, and this could be even a fire hazard. And and the fan airflow get reduced, we will have molds and other issues in our bathroom. These are the things that needs to be addressed like periodically. One good time for doing this type of maintenances are the suite turnover time, which is a very good time actually to check the air leak and cleaning the coils and like baths and kitchen fans, baseboard heaters. If we need to replace any appliances or any other type of maintenances like this, we can check our zone valves. That's a very good time to check our zone valves if they're stock fully open or stock fully closed. So the suite turnover time is the best time, as well as when we do our annual suite inspection for the fire system. That is also a good time to do some of the crucial maintenances like checking the zone valves and vacuuming the baseboard heaters, as well as the suite fans. Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation has a guide and manual, which I think don't have enough time to talk about the detail of these guides and manuals, but if please, like it's too much details, but we would be happy to get you copies of what is of your interest. So you could be in touch with us, and we will be providing a copy of these if you like. As I mentioned, we need to have a planned capital upgrades instead of just waiting for our equipment to fail and then replace them, because we don't know when it's going to happen, and we don't know what would be available in the market in the time of failure. So it's very good to have a plan for them and have an eye on them to see what is their situation. So we can get them replaced on planned and on time. And if that happened, that we can get locked in another 10 years of like poor performance with just replacing them with not a very good or efficient actually device. These are some of the areas that we already talked about. When we are planning for our capitals, it's a good idea. It would be a great investment to integrate it with an energy reduction or conservation plan. We can do energy assessment, and we can like there are a lot of options to reduce the energy consumption. We can use heat pumps. There are hybrid heat pumps and other type of heat pumps available in the market. Fresco can help in assessing the energy and offering the different type of the solutions. And also we can help in getting a better value of this type of solutions. Obviously, there are some fundings from provincial, national, and like different authorities. We can also help evaluating what type of incentive would be available with the solutions that we are going to choose for any type of building. Anyone who is interested in to know more about the incentives can also talk with BC and PHA, and as well as directly with Fresco.
Great, thanks so much, Mehdi. Yeah, if you've got any questions, just feel free to unmute, or you can put them in the Q&A button, or put them in the chat. There's been great conversation, and Sophia's been on the sidelines here answering some questions about lighting. So thank you for that, Sophia. Sophia's contact info is in there as well if you want any of those CMHC maintenance guides. Let's see. I don't see any yet. Yeah, so many great reminders in there. I know it's just a lot of things that we know that are good for our buildings, but it's great to get the reminder that it's easier to respond before the equipment fails. So thanks for that. And then I guess I'll put in a plug too for if you do find you have some aging equipment, but you're not ready to replace it yet, you can definitely contact BCMPHA. We can do a free energy assessment. And then I've mentioned that once you have that in hand, there's funding available so that you'd be able to hire engineers like Mehdi and Sophia to do a deeper energy assessment and actually get that business case for replacement. Yeah, so give us a shout. Okay, here come the questions then. We've got, who would check the zone valves, and it doesn't need to be a plumber? That's from Maureen.
Yeah, usually plumbers can help in that. And if you have any contractor who are checking regularly the building, they can easily check the zone valves to make sure if they are responsive with this set point that we usually set on our wall thermostat. So they need to regularly open and close the flow water, like heating water flow to the baseboard heaters. So yeah, a plumber can easily check the zone valves.
Okay, great, thank you. I've got one question here. Comments on water emitters? What sort of water emitters are we? Maybe Lee can give a bit more context there.
Not sure if I get the question exactly. So it's about the chemical.
I'm not sure yet. Maybe Lee, you can tell us a bit more or unmute. Kara has mentioned that when checking the roofing, she learned that that checking all of the exhaust vents at the same time saves trips up the ladder. So that is 100% someone thinking like a property manager,
Yeah.
trying to like stack those functions. Like, what else can we do while we're up on the ladder? So thanks for that tip, Kara. That's excellent. Still not quite sure about the water emitters, but someone else had to leave because they had a leaky washing machine. So I guess maintenance never sleeps. Yeah.
Lee is here now.
Okay.
Lee, you can unmute yourself and provide more context.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have water emitters to keep some of our P traps primed. And just curious if you have any information on those failing or a maintenance schedule on those.
You got water meter on the P traps?
Yes.
Okay. Honestly, this is my first time hearing this, but I can look into it, and then if we can be in touch, I can find a solution for that. So if it's a water meter, that can be easily just regularly checked to see if they're working properly or not.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks, everyone. So we've got, yeah, we'd love your feedback on this session. Anytime you've got any ideas about, any other future sessions, we'd love to hear about it. And we really appreciate Mehdi and Sophia from Fresco taking the time to keep this at the top of mind at this, maintenance season. So, I mean, it's always maintenance season. So thank you so much. Yeah, feel free to reach out to Fresco, reach out to us. And yeah, we hope you have a great rest of your afternoon, everybody.
Thank you, Jackie.